Welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. This is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, the whole Q&A series lives and dies by you guys. If you ask awesome questions, then it's a great Q&A. So the more questions, the better. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments to this video and I will answer them the following week. Try to leave them in the comments to this video because if they're scattered all over the channel, a lot of the time I can't find them, and sometimes I'll see a question when I'm on the way to a gig or something. I'm like, oh, that's a really good question, and then I can't find it afterwards, and I'm really frustrated because I can't answer it. So if you've got a question, leave it in the comments to this particular video, and if I miss your question, just ask it again the following week. With that being said, there are some awesome questions this week, and we are officially in the run-up to Christmas right here on Magic TV, which is super exciting. I'm going to talk more about that a little bit later on. But without further ado, let's get straight into this week's questions. So the first question is from the Fess. Hey man, how you doing? Hey Craig, simple question, but what is dual reality when it comes to Magic? I hear the term pop up from time to time, but never know what it means. Great question. What is dual reality? Basically, it's used a lot by mentalists, a little bit like by magicians, but mainly by mentalists. Pete Turner in his early work did some work with dual reality. Max Maven has as well. And it's the whole concept of there's two realities. So you have something that there's a different effect for the audience than there is for the spectator that you're performing for example. And it can take lots of different ways. A lot of tricks aren't reliant solely on dual reality, but dual reality is used as a bit of a method within the context of the routine, or it might be used as a subtlety. And a lot of people, they don't get the difference between dual reality and instant stooging. With instant stooging, you're, during the course of the routine, bringing a particular audience member into the trick. You're explaining to them during the course of the routine how the trick works and asking them to play along. And there is an element of dual reality because when they do play along, the audience isn't aware. So the person that you've brought in on it with you, they are aware that they're in on it and nobody else is. But when dual reality is done properly, the person that is part of it, they're not even aware they're part of it. So let me give you a couple of examples. It might be easier with a couple of examples. An example of instant stooging that I do all the time is at the end of a coins across routine. So what I'll do is at the end of a coins across routine, I've got one coin left. Somebody over here is holding 3 coins. In reality, they're holding 4. And I'll have this one coin left. And I'll turn to somebody on my side and I say, look, you're going to make this last coin disappear yourself. But in order to do magic, you got to be kind of sneaky and pull the wool over people's eyes sometimes. Are you okay with that? And they say yes. And you say, brilliant, do a false transfer. And you say, do me a favor, hold your hand out for me. Can you hold on to that coin? And you put apparently the coin into their hand. Really, there's nothing. You close their hand around it. You look at them dead on the eyes and you say, remember, if you pull this off, everyone's going to give you a big round of applause. You're going to be the superstar. You're going to make the coin disappear yourself. And what you're basically saying to this person at that point is, you know there's no coin in your hand. I know there's no coin in your hand, but play along because this is going to be really awesome. I've done that hundreds of times in a gigging situation, and I give them kind of a wink. They understand. 99 times out of 100, they'll make this big deal of it. I'll say, right, are you ready? You're going to make the coin disappear. Wave your other hand on top, and they'll kind of even look shocked when the coin disappears. And then it heightens the effect for everyone else because from their point of view, the coin vanished in the spectator's hands, whilst in reality, they were instant stooge. Now, there is an element of dual reality in there as well, but in reality, they were stooged, if that kind of makes sense. If you've seen Paul Daniels do his chairs routine, that's a very simple concept as well. There's an element of instant stooging in that routine, whilst also, as well as an element of instant stooging, there's dual reality going on as well. Now, an example of pure dual reality, and I'll give you a very basic example, is, let's say I'm doing a mentalism show, and I'm going to go out in the audience to get a member of the audience to help me. So I say, right, I need someone to help me. You over there, sir. Can you help me, please? Put your hand up. Yes, I'll come and get you. And then as I go down to get this guy, I switch my mic off. Now, the audience don't know I've switched my mic off, but I have. And as I bring him up on stage, I just say to him, what's your name? John. Oh, fantastic, John. And what star sign are you? Aries. Okay, brilliant, fantastic. Thanks, John. And then as I come back on stage, I bring him back on stage and I put my mic back on. So now I say, now, John, we've never met. It's really important. We've never met before. Up until me bringing you up on this stage, we have never met. I don't know you. I don't know who you are. Is that right? Fantastic. You're not in on this in any way. And, I might say, for example, your name is John. Is that right? John. Now, from the audience's point of view, I've just took someone who I don't know and told them their name immediately. And then I go, now concentrate on your date of birth, just to see if we're in sync here. Your date of birth is April. Is that right? Is your date of birth April? Yes, it is, because I know his star sign is Aries. So obviously I know what his date of birth would be because I know his star sign. From the audience's point of view, and from his point of view, I'm just reading back, I'm just giving the information to him that he just gave me. But from the audience's point of view, I've already started kind of doing mind reading. So that's an example. That's an example of dual reality. Another simple example of dual reality are various different versions of the Quran medallion trick. You know, a lot of the time I've seen Quran's medallion done and they've made out that the tag has been engraved, whilst in reality it's been written on. But you can make the audience believe that the tag has been engraved by the way that you actually speak to the member of the audience that's up on stage with you. So that's basically a long-winded way to explain what dual reality is and what the difference is between dual reality and instant staging. I hope that helps, Fess. Okay, so the next question is from Nevio, and Nevio says, will you bring another product for the Alakazam wallet series out? And the answer is yes, I will definitely be bringing out another product for the Alakazam wallet series. If you didn't know, my first release that I brought out since coming back to the Magic community was Gossip, which was very, very well received. Apparently, according to Pete, it was the second best-selling trick of Alakazam all year, which is super cool. But I have another wallet trick coming out. In fact, the next release that I have coming out is at the beginning of January, and it's a routine. I'll even tell you the name of the trick. It's called Playlist, and it's designed to fit inside your wallet. If you see me out and about, you'll see this in my wallet along with Gossip. I've not talked about it on the channel because I didn't want to, because it's coming out soon, but I'll be talking about it more in the coming weeks and months. But Playlist is the next release that's coming out, and it's coming out right at the beginning of January, and it's part of the Alakazam wallet series, and it's basically an act in your wallet. I teach you how to do 20 minutes with nothing more than something that fits inside a credit card slot, which is super cool. I love tricks that fit inside wallets. I love everyday carry, but the whole point about an everyday carry trick for me is it's got to look kind of organic. It's got to look like it would be in there. So I don't want to pull out a pack of cards or a chop cup or something, or pull a sponge ball out. I want something that will look like it's meant to be inside a wallet, if that kind of makes sense. And this trick Playlist is the perfect example of that. I do have another trick coming out with the 1914 at some point next year, which is it's another trick designed to fit inside a wallet, and it's super cool. It's absolutely brilliant, so look out for both of those. But yes, the next trick I'm bringing out with Alakazam is part of their wallet series, so look out for it. Okay, so the next question is by O'Brien Magic. Michael O'Brien, my personal hero. And by the way, I know I've said it to you on Messenger, mate, but congratulations on your Foolus appearance. If people haven't seen it yet, go check out Michael O'Brien. Go check out his YouTube channel. Go check out his video of him performing on Penn and Teller Foolus. It takes guts to do what you did, bringing Penn and Teller up on stage and doing that off Teller's head. Man, you got balls the size of grapefruits, dude. I absolutely loved it. And O'Brien Magic, Michael O'Brien says, hey Craig, hope you're well. Last week on the Q&A, you talked about the Blackpool Magic Convention and whether you thought it would happen. As you know, I'm scheduled to be there. Man, I'm so super excited. And so is Ryland. Was wondering what the travel restrictions out in the UK will be like. I'm hearing rumours that you need to show proof of a negative COVID-19 test to enter through airport security. Just want to be prepared so that I have a smooth trip home. I'm sure to be knackered, and the last thing I need is to stress out getting home. Thanks in advance. The big piece of advice I would give you, and I'm going on there now, go on the Vanishing Ink website. and go down to their blog, because they've written a really good blog about this, and I'm trying to find it now. So they've wrote a really good blog about this, and I think the reason they've wrote this really interesting blog is because they've got the session coming out in January. So the session convention is happening in January, so that's happening before Blackpool. So they're getting way ahead of it, and they've done a blog, and it's titled, I'm looking at it right here, The Session COVID-19 Tests International Visitors. And it is the absolute perfect resource for anyone coming into the UK if you want to know what the deal is. And you know, I'm not going to read the whole thing now, but briefly, as it stands, if you're traveling from outside the UK, you need to perform a day 2 COVID test. While the process can sound complicated, the good news is it's quick and easy to do. Despite its name, a day 2 COVID test actually means the test must be performed within 2 days of your arrival. You do not have to do it on your second day. We recommend doing the test as soon as you arrive in the UK. You must then quarantine at your hotel until you receive a negative test result. The official guidance says that you should not use public areas or bars until you get your test results back. So the test is mandatory for everyone entering the UK to check for COVID variants. And then what they've done is they've given you 2 links, one to the quickest option, which costs £130, but the test results will be back with you in a few hours. And then the cheapest and easiest option is £69, but it's 24 hours. It's up to 24 hours before you get the test back. So basically, you need to arrive into the UK a couple of days before Blackpool, get your test as soon as possible, and then when you get the test results and they're negative, you're free to do whatever you want to do. Go check out the Vanishing Ink blog. The actual blog is called The Session COVID-19 Tests International Visitors. So go check that out. It's got links, and I think it's pretty much got all the information you're going to need. Okay, so the next question is Chame Yu Chen, and he says, "Hi Craig, great video, thanks very much. As magic products and books come in various shapes and sizes, would you be able to make a video on how you store the magic products that you buy?" Okay, yeah, I mean, cool. I can do a video on this. I think it'd be a really good video to do, actually, and I could actually show you around my various different places where I store this stuff. But to give you an overview right now, my answer to this would be very different to Sarah's answer to this. Sarah's answer would be, he leaves his magic crap all over the house. My answer would be, I'm a lot more organised than Sarah would like you to believe. So first of all, I'm quite lucky that I've got this office that I work out of, as well as my home. And in my office, I've got a massive warehouse. So a lot of the props that I'm using when I gig are kept here in the warehouse. So all the illusions are kept here, all the cabaret stuff is kept here, and any tricks that I might use at a gigging situation are kept here, because a lot of the time if I'm gigging, what I'll do is I'll leave from the office. So I'll come to the office, get everything that I need, load up, and then go off and do that. And obviously in my office at the top floor of the building, in my desk, I've got stuff that I'm working on all over the desk. I'm very messy, so I have, if I'm working on something, it's dotted all over the desk, because then I can pick it up and play with it and put it back down, and then pick it up again and play with it and put it back down. At home, we've got a few big buildings at the bottom of our garden, one of which is like a big man cave. We call it the cave, and in there, that's where me and Ryland spend a lot of time practicing magic. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. He's got his own table and his own set of drawers. I've got my own table and my own set of drawers. There's wall-to-wall library there, so there's tons of books. They're not all the books, but there's a lot of books in there on bookshelves. And then next door to that, I've got a home office where I do a lot of the Talk Magic interviews, and in there I've got more bookshelves, way more bookshelves, but I've also got literally about 2,000 magic DVDs. So they're all there, and I've got various different things and drawers and with gimmicks and so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, it's basically spread out. It's not in the house. There is one area in the house with stuff that me and Ryland are actually working on there and then, and we can't spill out over that house, else Sarah would kill me. But yeah, it's basically everywhere else. And we try to keep it, myself and Ryland, try to keep it as organised as possible, but neither one of us are very organised. So it's a very difficult thing to do, to be perfectly honest. But I've got very interesting kind of concepts when it comes to storing stuff, especially coin gimmicks and card gimmicks and so on and so forth, so that they don't get wrecked. So if you guys would be interested in seeing a video on that, I could do a video on that and show you around all of the various different places that I keep my stuff If you would find that useful, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so the next question is from Stevie Seltzer Moves, and Stevie says, how do you understand the numbers and figure out how to make money out of it within your business? Well, this is a big subject, and this is something that I'm planning on going deep on in Netrix, because with Netrix, it's not just tricks. There's lots of other different courses on there as well to do with marketing and things like that. So there's lots and lots and lots and lots of information on there, and I want to talk about numbers, because without going too deep into this, of course, this is not the subject for a Q&A, the most important thing for a business owner, and remember, I've talked about this on the channel before, if you are self-employed, if you are making money from magic, if you are a semi-professional or professional, then you have to treat your magic business like an actual business. And one of the most important things that you need to know when you're treating your magic business like a business is knowing the figures, knowing the numbers. It's very, very important to do that. You know, I had a friend who's not around anymore, emigrated, but he was a professional magician, and he used to just get paid cash every single gig and put the money into his pocket and not bank any of the money. He didn't trust banks or whatever it was, so he used to just hold on to this cash, and every single gig he did was cash in hand, and he was just constantly broke. And the reason he was constantly broke is because he'd go into a shop and he'd give them £20, and then he'd go into another shop and give them £20, and before you knew it, it burns a hole in your pocket. It's very easy for this money to disappear, and before you know it, you've got no money for rent or mortgage or whatever it may be. I make sure that first of all, it doesn't matter how many gigs I do. I could do 1 million gigs. I could do 1 billion gigs, and it makes no difference in terms of how much money I make, because I'm on a set wage. So I'm technically not self-employed. I'm employed. I'm a director of Non-Stop Kids Entertainment and a director of Slightly Unusual, and I am employed by those companies. So the important thing to note here is I have the same amount of money going into my bank account regardless of how many gigs I've done. Now, I always advise people to do that when they're self-employed. I always advise doing that rather than living on this gig economy thing, rather than living gig by gig and, oh, right, I've done a gig, I've got money on that. Because you see so many people who get in trouble in January, February, March, because typically outside of COVID times, it's quieter in January and February and March. So people end up with loads of money in December, which they blow, and then they end up running out of money in January, February and March, and they have no cash. Especially when you consider in the UK, we pay our tax, self-employed people pay their tax bill in the end of January. So if you're the sort of person that just has cash in hand gigs and cash in hand gigs and cash in hand gigs, you might be in a situation where you've had loads of money coming in January, and then you've got not very much at all in January or February or whatever it may be. So all of the money that I make, all of the money anybody makes in this country goes into the company, and I just get paid a wage. And I strongly suggest that you do that. The other thing I suggest is that you know your figures, like Stevie Seltzer says, know your figures, know what your income is. I speak to people all the time, and I say, how much do you spend on Google AdWords? And they go, oh, I don't know. You don't know how much you spend? No. Well, have you budgeted for it? No. So how do you know it's working? I don't know. What you need to do is you need to track everything. So you need to know what your income is, and you need to track it every single month. So in January, this much income came into the company, this much turnover came into the company. In February, this much turnover came in, because then you can look back, you can project. And what I mean by that is, if you've been running your business for 5 years and you keep track of your turnover every single year, you're going to know roughly how much money is going to be coming into your business when you go into a particular month, because you can look back at the previous years and you can go, well, last year this much money came in, so I'm going to expect around about that same amount. But you can also then set goals. So you can say at the end of a year, well, okay, we made this much money in January, we're going to up it by 20%. So we're going to make this much, we're going to aim to have this much turnover coming into the company this year. And you can't set those goals. You can't set financial goals if you don't know how much money is coming in on a month-by-month basis. So it's really important to track income, track turnover, very, very important. But then what you do is you track your expenses as well. and you track how much money you're spending. How much money am I spending on this? How much money am I spending on this? How much money am I spending on this? And then track your profits, both your gross profit and your net profit, because that will allow you to make informed decisions. And then what you want to do is you want to track your marketing activities. So you want to go, okay, well, I've just, every time somebody inquires, where did you find out about us? I saw you on a Facebook ad. Oh, I saw you on a Google AdWord. I saw whatever it may be. Track where people find out about you, because then you can work out whether the money that you're spending is worth spending or not. So, for example, let's say I started dropping £1,000 a month on Facebook, but no people are coming in through Facebook. There's no inquiries coming in. I know that money's not working. So I can take that money that I'm spending on Facebook and put it somewhere else, or I can try and work out why it's not working. So knowing all of these figures are really important. And then how do you make a business more profitable? Well, you make a business more profitable by adjusting key areas. So for example, you could say, well, if I increased my turnover by 10% year on year, well, that's going to mean that I've got more turnover, so I'm going to end up having more profit. Well, how do I increase my turnover? And it's actually really easy to increase your turnover if you track your figures. So you go, well, I booked 1,000 gigs in that month. Okay, well, let's see if we can up it to 1,050. It's only an extra 50 bookings. You know, if we've booked in 1,000, an extra 50 shouldn't be a problem. But if we book in an extra 50 gigs and we charge £400 a gig, well, how much is that extra money? Well, that's a lot of extra turnover, and that's just for that 1 month. So you look at how many gigs are coming in. And you go, well, okay, I'm going to try and increase the amount of gigs that are coming in because that's going to have a positive effect on my turnover. Then you can look at how much you're charging for your gigs. Well, I'm charging £300. Right, okay, well, let's put it up to 320. Now, that extra £20 per gig is going to generate even more income. But if you combine that with the extra gigs that are coming in, well, that's amazing. Then you look at your expenses and you say, well, this is our expenses. Where can I shave the costs off the expenses? Where can I reduce that? Well, let's look at the expenses. Well, I spent all of that money that year on that. That didn't work at all. I'm going to get rid of that. And you reduce your expenses. And by reducing your expenses and increasing your income, that's how you make your business a lot more profitable, but without any extra effort. Look, Stevie, I've kind of talked about this a little bit too much. I get really excited about this sort of subject. If you want to see a video that goes really into depth in this, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to put one together. I am going to be talking about stuff like this on Netrix, but basically, to bottom line it, track everything. Make sure you're tracking all of your income, all your expenses, your booking, anything statistically you are able to track, because it's going to help you run your business more effectively. Okay, so the next question is by the Fess again. How's it going, Craig? I am good. I know that at the end of the year, you're going to do a best and worst tricks of the year, but what about doing an award ceremony of the best tricks for selected categories like best card trick, best mentalism, best stage, best close-up, best virtual, etc., as a prequel to the best tricks of 2021? Well, I do that. I do that in January. Last January, me and Ryland hosted the Magic TV Awards 2020. And if you want to go and see that, you can do. If you go into the playlists on Magic TV, it's got its own playlist. There's only one video in there because we've only done it once, which was last year, but we're planning on doing it again next year. And we went to town on it. You know, we did awards for the best Magic dealer, the best Magic producer, the best Magic creator, and we got acceptance speeches from all of these people as well. And it was really fun. We tried to make it as much like the Oscars as possible. We're going to do that again in January next year. In terms of the best and worst, lists of 2021. Those have already been put together. Those have been recorded. Those have been edited. They are there. This Thursday, we're going to be going live. Jack, is it this Thursday that we're putting out the best of list? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So this Thursday, we're putting the best of list out. That's going to go out this Thursday, which is the 23rd, right, Jack?
Yep.
Yeah. And then on the 24th, we've got the worst list, right? Unfortunately, yeah. So on the 24th, thanks, Jack. On the 24th, we've got the worst list going up. So the best list going out on the 23rd, 24th list, we've got the worst list. So those are already edited, they're scheduled, they're ready to go. They're going to be going live at 9 o'clock British Mean Time. So those two will go live on the run up to Christmas, and then in January at some point we will have the Magic TV Awards 2021. Okay, so the next question is by Matty Mediocrity, and Matty, regular viewer of the channel. How you doing, Matty? Hope you're well. The time you talked about your first date with Sarah and the drunken phone call was hilarious, man. It's hilarious looking back on it. It wasn't hilarious at the time. Flip a coin. Heads, tell us how you proposed, or tails, tell us about the first fight you had. Well, I flipped a coin and it was heads, so I'll do that one. But if you want me to answer the other one in a future Q&A, let me know. So how did you propose? How did I propose to Sarah? Well, very, very simply, I realized that I was absolutely punching above my weight, and that she obviously had some sort of I don't know, head problem, because the fact that she even wanted to be with me was absolutely remarkable, especially at the time. You know, I was a failed magician and she was a super successful teacher. And so I wanted to land her and keep her. You know, I didn't want her to realize that she was with such an idiot. So after 3 months, we went on holiday to Cyprus. So I took her away for a week to Cyprus. We went away together, and that was really nice. And while I was there was a jeweler's, and it was a beautiful little jeweler's, and she was looking at the jewelry, and she saw a ring, and she was like, oh, that, you know, that would make a really nice ring. And I went back and I bought it with every penny that I absolutely had. And then while we were on holiday in Cyprus, I proposed, and she said yes. And we had it, so we got engaged after like 3 months, and we had a very long engagement, because we didn't get married for a few years after that, but we had a very long engagement. And it was part of my plan was to make sure that I kind of tried to lock her in as much as possible. So that was, yeah, 3 months. Not really too much of a funny story about it, to be honest. When we came back, she was living with her sister at the time, and I had my own place, and she was living with her sister at the time. And as luck should have it, her sister was going to get married, had just been proposed to by her boyfriend, and she was going to move out and move in with him in his place. So because this was her sister's house, her sister wanted to sell the house, so she was effectively homeless. So I said, hey, why don't you move in with me? So after like 3 months, she moved in with me, and yeah, I mean, although there is a story about her moving in with me, right? I had this house absolutely perfect. It was a total bachelor pad, right? I had this house exactly how I wanted it. She would describe the colours in this house as sickening. I loved it. Like the living room, for example, was like dual colours. The top half of the walls were bright red burgundy. The bottom half of the walls were bright lilac with a giant yellow streak going around the middle in wood. The toilet, the downstairs toilet, was from top to bottom turquoise. Like, it was all multicolored. She absolutely hated it. And I had this room at the top of the house, I called it my chill out room, right? Because I was living on my own. I had a chill out room, and it had a computer in there, and it had like a PlayStation in there, and I painted a mural on there of like Marvel, and really cool. I kind of spent about a month painting this mural because I am that sad. And then there were posters all over the wall, and it was like FHM posters and car posters and computer game posters and stuff like that. Within a week of moving into this house, she said, oh, we should redecorate. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? I was like, right. And she was like, look, we'll take the posters down so that we can redecorate, and then we'll put them back up. And she took them down. I was like, no, I want them. I collected those. I want them. And she's like, no, we'll put them back up. It's fine. Look, I'm going to roll them up nice and carefully. I'm going to wrap elastic bands. We'll keep them nice and safe. We'll redecorate, and then we'll put them back up. I never saw those posters ever again. I've never seen those posters. They just disappeared. They just disappeared, and I forgot to ask her where they went. I know where she went. She put them in the bin, and she fooled me. And that's what she did. But she turned my house into this normal house. But there you go. So that's the answer to the question, Matty. We got engaged after 3 months. Okay, so the next question is by Magic Stevens, and Magic says, hi Craig, hope you're well. On the weekends I do magic on the streets or in pubs, and if I'm not doing a wedding or a party. I was asked to perform in a restaurant, but they could not pay me, so I have to ask for tips. Any suggestions on asking people for tips? I normally just say the restaurant don't pay me, so if you enjoyed the show, would you mind tipping my hat? Is there a better way to ask? I can give you kind of I've never worked for tips before, so this would just be pure speculation. I imagine the best person to speak about this would be somebody who works the streets and actually does work for tips. People like Cosmo would be a good person to ask. Gazzo would be a good person to ask. There's a few people that would be a good person to ask. I would personally, if I was going to do this, what I would do is I would have table tents printed. It wouldn't cost you that much. I'd have table tents printed with your, really nice, with your picture on there, and something on there that says, hey, there is live magic tonight at the restaurant. If you enjoy the performance, please tip the performer, please tip the magician, or something like that. I mean, it's probably not the best way to word it, but I would try to have it so that you've got these things on the table, because when you sit down at a restaurant, you look at everything. If there's something there, you look at it. Oh, magic. Oh, right. Okay. It's obviously, it's obviously working for tips. And I put those, and when I get to the restaurant, and let's say I'm doing 3 hours at this restaurant, I'd say to the manager, hey, can I just put these over the tables? You're doing free entertainment to him. I don't think he'd have a problem, or she would have a problem with that. So you put these out on the tables. At least then they know that you're there, that you're going to do magic, and that you're working for tips. I personally wouldn't be as bold as to say, hey, I don't get paid by the restaurants, but I do think you need to put that across. And again, this is my area of expertise. If you put the table tents out, they probably know this already. What I'd try to do maybe is incorporate that into your performance. So, but in a non-cheesy, non-salesy way. So, and again, this is something that I probably need to think through, but I'll give you an idea just so you kind of go where my train of thought's going. So you're doing an ambitious card and you've had it come to the top like twice or 3 times. And then you say, look, I tell you what, I'm going to do it. I did it. I don't very often do this, but I'm going to do it the way that I did it to a table over there last week. Now, when I did this, they tipped me, and they tipped me big because they thought this was absolutely impossible, or something. And then you do Daryl's ultimate ambition, where the rope goes around it and everything, and they see it going in there, and they see it coming up to the top, that sort of thing. Because what that would do is that would kind of say to them, hey, I'm getting tipped by other tables. Other than that, I suppose at the end you could say, but I don't like saying the restaurant don't pay me, because it might encourage the customers to turn around to the restaurant and go, oh, you don't pay them. So I don't know, something along the lines of, guys, thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed the performance. I'm a street performer, so I make my living performing, and the only money I get is from people that enjoy the performance. If you've enjoyed it, that's fantastic. Feel free to tip me something. Don't feel like you need to if you don't have to, but every single cent counts. It's completely up to you. Or something like that, and try and take the sting out of it. And I think that would probably be a better way. That's all I've got really on that question, because I've never been in that situation. Off the top of my head, that's what I do. But I would go and look at the magic menu. If you haven't got the magic menu set of books, go and get that, because there's tons of information in there on tipping and being tipped and how to be tipped. So for sure, that's something that I definitely look into. Okay, so Zach Magic Israel says, I got my Blackpool ticket and planning to come from Israel. Excited about it. Are you coming there yet, Craig? Yes, me and Ryland are going to be at Blackpool, assuming it goes to head, and I'm going to be very upbeat, and I'm going to be very optimistic. I'm going to say, yes, it's going to go ahead. Assuming it's going to go ahead, me and Ryland will be there, and we're going to be there whole weekend. Sarah and Thea are going to be there as well. We got family tickets, so we're going to be there as a family, and we're just going to have an absolute blast, and we're going to hang out and do magic, and it'd be great to see all of our friends there. So yes, 100%. I will be at Blackpool, Ryland will be at Blackpool, and it'd be great to see anyone there. Anybody who's watched me on Magic TV, come on over, sit down, grab a drink with me, and let's show each other some magic tricks. That would be awesome. Okay, so Ben Jones says, what's been the best investment you made for your business? Okay, so I'm going to assume you said business, so I'm going to assume you mean business right now, not the best investment you made in a trick, but in a business. I'd say it's one of two things. The first thing is a piece of software called Infusionsoft. Now, Infusionsoft is a very expensive CRM. It's called Keep now, Infusionsoft by Keep, and it's not cheap, especially when you've got all the add-ons that we have. It's something like £300 or £400 a month. And when we set the business up, and we had we needed a CRM, and we could have gone for the free MailChimp type thing, and that would have been absolutely fine. But we knew we needed to scale the business, and the way to scale the business is by assume that you're going to be where you wanted it to be. And I knew that if we were going to scale the business to the point that I wanted it to be at, then any free option wouldn't be viable for very long. So I went for Infusionsoft, and basically Infusionsoft runs the business. It's like having two more members of staff within the business. That it takes payments automatically. It deals with all of the customer care. It deals with the customer journey. It deals with the emails. It's a full-on marketing suite. So the first thing I'd say is setting up the right software at the beginning of the business, and we still use it today. The other thing I'd say is getting our first member of staff, because the thing with running a business and being a self-employed business owner is ultimately, if you're setting up a business, you want to be entrepreneurial, yeah? But you want to be an entrepreneur. Well, in order to be entrepreneurial, in order to be an entrepreneur, you can either work on your business or in your business. If you're working in your business, and what I mean by working in your business is doing all the day-to-day stuff like the sales activities, the admin activities, whatever it may be, the marketing activities, the whatever. If you're doing all the day-to-day stuff, then you have no time to work on your business and put things in place to be able to cause that business to grow. The reason I'm able to work on the business, and the reason I can spend so much time doing these videos, is because I don't spend a lot of the time doing the day-to-day stuff. I have a team of people that do that for me. And it all started off with one member of staff. His name was Chris. It was a big deal when we got Chris because, you know, we didn't have that much money. We were only just doing okay, and we were like, well, okay, we're going to be constantly just working on sales and working on admin unless we can get somebody in to do that. So we got a member of staff in, one member of staff, and then that turned into 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. You get the idea. So, but it all started with getting one member of staff in and taking that leap. So I'd say that it's two things. One, taking on a member of staff and pushing yourself outside that comfort zone. It's a very scary place to push yourself out of. And 2, investing in a piece of software that was way too expensive at the time and way beyond what we needed it to do, but knowing that the business would hopefully be in a point at some point in the distant future, or the not so distant future, where that software would be absolutely vital to run the business. And that's what we did. Okay, so the next question is from Mike Ianio. I think I've got that right. What is the current state of your new Penguin Magic exclusives? By Penguin Magic exclusives, I think you mean the tricks that I'm bringing out through Penguin, right? Well, I'm going, if you listen to the podcast with me and Louis Barnes, and if you don't, you should do. I've talked about this in great detail. I'm going to be going to Penguin Land. I'm going to be going to America in January to film everything that I need to film. I am all in with Penguin. I really kind of respect them. They've been a very good company to deal with. And I've really enjoyed, even though I've not put anything out with them, I've had a lot of time on the phone with them and with various key people within Penguin. And they are an incredible company to deal with. An incredible company to deal with. I've been very, very impressed with how they've basically conducted themselves and dealt with me and so on and so forth. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff coming out with Penguin that is exclusive to them. And I know they want to work with me on other things as well. The first thing that's coming out is Keymaster 2, working title. And it's honestly, it's about as far removed from the original Keymaster as you could possibly get. I've seen the new gimmicks. They are awesome. I've got them. They're in my other office. They are incredible. You get extra gimmicks that you didn't get with the original Keymaster or in any other versions of Keymaster. You get the keys are the best they've ever been. They look incredible, and they are smaller, so they're easier to hold. But there's 10 routines, the original Keymaster is just one routine. There's another 9 routines, and some of those routines are better than the original Keymaster and couldn't have been done with the original Keymaster because the keys weren't right and they didn't have the gimmicks that you get with this. And I've structured the whole thing into an act that you can literally have on your keys. So you can literally take your keys with you and you can pull them out and you can do like a 20-25 minute act by structuring all of these routines together. It's killer. It's absolutely killer. I went to a corporate gig the other day with Nemid Phoenix, and I literally did an hour and a half of close-up magic, and all I had in my pocket were the stuff that I needed to do the Keymaster routines, and it killed. Absolutely killed. There's a ring and string routine on there, and the ending, and it's not a ring, it's a key. The ending is, anyone who's seen it has said to me, that is the best ending to anything to do with ring and string I've ever seen before. It absolutely happens in the spectator's hand, and it's a complete head mash. It really is. So that's the first thing that's coming. I'd like to think that that's out by Blackpool, but obviously I don't know until I get over there and film it. But I'm super excited. I'm all in with Penguin. I think they're great. I had a great experience doing my Penguin school. I did Penguin school in November on restaurant magic. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. And I'm hoping to do more of those and Penguin Lives and everything. Yeah, Penguin are a really good company to work with. So the state of it, Mike, is watch this space, coming soon. So the next question is from Magic Stevens. Also, this question has to be answered as it's such a great question. Do you still perform chop? And can it be done with plastic money? I dug mine out the other day and I remember how strong it was. And I want to perform it again, but not sure of the new bills in the UK. Right, so first of all, yes, I still do chop. And I have realised in the years since doing chop that there is a lot more that you can do with it. Like the stuff I do with chop now, it's beyond just a chop cup routine, even though the original chop cup routine was great and I've got new moves and new concepts with it. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can do with that gimmick as well, including card routines, coin routines. I mean, honestly, there's so much you can do. It is ridiculous. I've got like probably about another 8 or 9 routines that I do with chop beyond the original chop routine, right? There's so much more you can do with it. And yes, I can absolutely use the UK notes without a problem. However, there's other ways that you can use chop as well. And I've come up with ways of using it beyond just using it with money. Maybe one day I should release it as a project with all of the new routines and an updated gimmick. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? Okay, so the next question is by Rich Relish. How you doing, Rich? Hope you're well. Hi, Craig. Could you recommend a copper silver brass routine that's not too sleight of hand heavy for someone getting into coin magic? Thanks. Yes, I can. As Gary Davis has replied to you already, Gary, you beat me to the punch. This is my Q&A. Paul Virgil has bought out through Penguin CBS, which is great. It comes with the coins, or you can get it as a download. My personal version of Copper Silver Brass is on Netric, so you can check mine out on there when it launches. And also, Doug Brewer has a really good version in one of his books or DVDs. I think it was The Unexpected Visitor, possibly, book. I think it's in there. And also in the original Impossibilia by John Bannon, the book, although he then put it out on DVD when they are now available as downloads. John bought his Copper Silver Brass out, which has got some amazing moves that were way ahead of their time. Those are the ones that I would go into. If you want something that's got instant gratification, then go with the Paul Virgil one, which you can get as a download only from Penguin Magic. Okay, so the next question is by Davis Donald, and Davis Donald says, why are you producing some videos now in a place that's different to the main studio that you use? And I'm guessing you're talking about where I am right now. And the reason is I'm spending a lot of time over December. If I'm not gigging, I'm spending a lot of time in my office. And this is the marketing room in my office. This is where me and Jack and Luke write stuff down on the boards and work out total domination. This is the marketing room. I've got Jack sitting over there typing away. Say hi, Jack.
Hello.
Luke's working from home today. But Yeah, so that and it's sometimes more convenient for me to film here than it is to film in my studio at home. Having said that, in the new year, I'm creating a brand new studio for Magic TV with posters and art, and it's going to look absolutely incredible. And we're putting that all together in the new year. So you're going to see a big change in the set here on Magic TV. We're going to invest. We're investing in a really nice studio, so look out for that. But that's the reason, so hopefully that helps. Okay, so the next question is Sean McNulty Magician. Hey, Sean, hope you're well. I've been doing David Williamson's Be Honest, What Is It with the aces. That's a really great trick. And then changes into jokers. I'm thinking after that going to Ian Moran's Quantum Sandwich, but instead of using dupes, I was thinking of using the jokers, but for the kicker ending where they pull out the card, they pull out the aces. Would that work? Yeah, there's no reason why it wouldn't. That sounds like a really good idea. I know the two routines you're talking about. Those two routines do link together. That's some really clever thinking. You know that I'm a big fan of transitioning from one routine into the other. That sounds great. Why don't you film it and put it on as a video and send me the link? I'd love to see it. Okay, so the next question is Sting, and Sting says, hey Craig, best channel on YouTube, thank you very much. My question, would you do a best of tricks with the TUC? I'm searching for some great routines, including a nice, easy to handle coins across. Yes, I'm putting a TUC in place at the moment. I've got a few hows and whys that are coming up over the coming weeks, the shell one will be coming through, coming before the TUC one, but the TUC one will be coming soon. So check it out, look out for it. That is definitely coming soon. Okay, so the next question is from Stevie Seltzer Moves, and Stevie says, what do the two cards mean in the Magic TV logo? In all honesty, I've tried to make them feel more relevant than they actually are, but in reality, they don't really mean anything. It was just a really cool logo to have. I like the idea of changing the colors over. I asked Luke to put a logo together for me. He gave me about 15 different options. That's the one that I really liked. So it doesn't really mean anything, to be honest, other than I just thought it was cool, it was quirky, and it was a case of let's just go for it. Okay, so the next question is Sean Goff, and Sean says, great Q&A, Craig, thank you. Just wondered, I found your channel in February and recently came across the 4 best Christmas tricks you made last year that you taught for free. I filled out the form and never received the trick, so I was just wondering if you're able to get the tutorial, as I have a Christmas gig on Thursday and I'd love to perform them. No worries if that's not possible. Yeah, I think we took the link down after Christmas. Jack, yep. We've got online somewhere on YouTube a video that's unlisted, and it's a tutorial for Christmas tricks. Yep. So if you type Christmas into the search bar in the studio, you should be able to see it. It's unlisted. When you put the Q&A live for this Sunday, can you drop a link into that video in the description?
Yeah, no problem.
And just put at the top sort of link to tutorial for Christmas tricks. Yeah. And then drop the link down below. There you go. If he's remembered to do that, then now, if you look down in the description, Sean, you should see a link to that video. If it hasn't there, if it's not there, that means Jack screwed up and he's forgotten. Don't blame me, blame him. He said you're going to do it, right?
100%.
He's 100% going to do it. So if it's not there, it's Jack's fault. Okay, so the next question is by the Fess, and the Fess says, hey Craig, another question I have for you. What are your thoughts on Luke Dancy leaving Murphy's Magic? I wish nothing for the best for Luke, but his departure seemed quite sudden, and the last few New This Week videos mentioned he was on holiday, only to be told he was leaving. I hope he's all right. I discussed this with Lloyd on the podcast this Wednesday, because Lloyd works at Murphy's Magic, and I figured he's the man that would know. So I'm not going to go into it now. If you go and check out the Magic Podcast, episode 3, with me and Lloyd Barnes, it's available on all good podcasting platforms. Me and Lloyd talk about this in great detail. Okay, so the next question is from Petite Magician. And he's referring to the video I put up on Wednesday, which was the review show where I took Peter Eggink's card through window and smashed it to bits with a hammer. And his thing is, great way to teach a kid how to be so violent like his dad. So there you go. We've got another guy coming on questioning my parenting skills. And I actually said that to him. I said, hey, someone calls me a bad parent. Just unsubscribe. Don't want you here. And he said, dream on. I never subscribe to your silly channel. You butcher tricks with your lack of skills. I butcher tricks with my lack of skills. And First of all, this is normally on Magic TV where I would do a rant. But I don't do that anymore because I don't get annoyed by people like you. I will point out that if you go and check out Petite Magician's channel, he's uploaded one video and one video only, which is the intro lesson to the 1914 release Visible. So Visible by Craig Petty, lesson 1 intro. He's downloaded it, even though you can't download this video from 1914. He's downloaded it and put it on YouTube, and I'm willing to bet that others will be going up there soon. So I'm going to report your channel. I mean, it's a new channel. It got set up just a month or two ago, and the only video up there is of my product. So you've illegally took my product and uploaded it onto this channel. So there's a few things that I want to point out about this. Number one, you know, why would you do that? But number two, if you hate me so much, why would you buy Visible? Or, at the very least, even if you haven't bought it and you've got it for free, why would you watch it? And if you think I'm so unskilled, why would you take that video and upload it onto YouTube? You're spending a lot of time thinking about me and my products, considering you think that I suck. I think you might be obsessed with me, buddy. Look, I don't get upset by people like you anymore. Because here's the thing, and this is a piece of advice I would give to anybody that gets trolls. And I get trolls all of the time on YouTube. You put yourself out there, you're going to get trolls. I've got a checkered past, so I'm going to get trolls. Here's the thing, buddy. As long as you don't tell me who you are, then your comments and your opinion of my lack of ability absolutely mean nothing to me. The thing that I need to remember, and I remember every single time I see a comment like this, is I have achieved more since coming back to Magic 18 months ago. I have achieved more in 18 months than you will in your entire career. I took a channel from 0 to 9,000 subscribers that many people say is the #1 YouTube channel for magicians on the internet, and I've only just got started. I've released 3 tricks in the last year, with about another 30 or 40 coming. Gossip was the second best selling trick in the whole of 2021 for Alakazam. Beyond Stebbins was hugely successful. Visible made it to the #1 slot for week after week after week after week. That's not bad for somebody who's got no skills that nobody cares about. Oh, and I did that while running 2 super successful businesses, giving work to hundreds of magicians and children's entertainers all over the UK, keeping them going during lockdown by putting out virtual shows. And I was going out and performing all of my time, during lockdown, virtual shows for the NHS to try and help kids that were sick in palliative care. I was doing all of that and keeping my 3 businesses super successful. Oh, and I've got companies like Murphy's Magic, Penguin Magic, Prop Dog, the list goes on and on and on. 1914, Alakazam wanting to work with me. They come to me and want to work with me. I've just been given the award of Creator of the Year by Alakazam Magic. I have achieved more in 18 months than you will in your entire career. And by the way, every single time I go and do a show, I absolutely smash it. My audiences love me. My clients love me, and they come back and they want more. Why? Because I am incredible. Now, have I got an ego? Yeah, of course I've got an ego. Every magician has to have an ego, because here's the thing. If you don't believe in yourself when you're in this showbiz world, if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect anybody else to believe in you anyway? I believe that I'm the best in the world at what I do. Is that the case? Probably not. Are there people out there better than me? Yeah, for sure. But I can at least believe it, and I can carry on doing what I do best. And I don't brag about stuff all the time on this channel, because that's not my thing. But I'm telling you right now, you come on this channel, you question my parenting abilities, you question my skill. What have you done? Because I've done more in the last 18 months than you've done in your entire life. And on your best day, when everything's going right, when everything's going right, everything's going perfectly right, on your best day, you can come close to achieving what I'm achieving on my worst day. And if you disagree with that, that's cool. That's your opinion. Your comments don't annoy me. They make me laugh. And if you disagree with me and you want to prove it, then why don't you tell me who you are, and we'll have a little magic competition. I'd love to do that, you and me. And I'll just show people why I'm absolutely the best at what I do. Now, go away, troll. I've got things to do. Okay, so the last question, it's not really a question, but it's a few people have contacted me about this, and I want to say thank you. If you weren't at the Alakazam Christmas party that just took place, you can still watch that video on their YouTube channel. It was a 4-hour-long marathon, and they kept cutting back to me to do magic tricks, and that was really super fun. So I was performing magic all night long virtually, which was great. And they didn't tell me about this, but they awarded me Alakazam Creator of the Year. So to everybody that that have contacted me saying congratulations, to Peter Nardi, Harry Nardi, the team at Alakazam, Andy Smith, Jenny Nardi, absolutely everybody, I want to say thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to me. 18 months ago, I was out of this crazy business, and I decided to come back in and make a few YouTube videos. To have 18 months later, one of the most successful magic companies in the world say to me that I was their Creator of the Year, that's huge, and that means a lot to me. So thank you, seriously, thank you. It's not very often that I'm taken aback and I haven't got words, but when they told me that on the night, I was just absolutely shocked. I didn't expect to see it coming, and it's made me feel really good about myself. So thank you so much to everyone that's commented and said really nice things. I really appreciate it. So there you go, guys. That is another Q&A in the bag. Thank you very much for joining me this Sunday. We'll be back again next Sunday with another Q&A. I know it's Boxing Day, but we'll still be here. And don't forget, there's a whole bunch of Christmas content coming here on Magic TV over the course of the next week. We got the best of list coming out on Thursday. On Friday, we've got the worst of list, and a whole bunch more stuff as well to come. So if you haven't already, please do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, tell all your friends, make sure you register for Netrix, because Netrix is coming soon. I'm going to be back again later on today with the shorts at 2. At 6 o'clock, we're going to have a live, and at 9 o'clock, we're going to have a review show special. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back on Monday with a 5x5 of shorts and a live. I'll be back on Wednesday with the podcast with Lloyd Barnes. And if I don't see you before, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.